Welcome to Nintendo Dads episode 433, recorded today, June 29th, 2023. On tonight's episode, we discuss, well, there's really no we, it's just me, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. This is a Justin Masson solo show. I've turned the lights on, I've sent the other three home, and ladies and gentlemen, it's just us breaking down all the Nintendo nerdy news that you need to know for the week of June 25th. So, folks, that's, I don't even know if it's June 25th. I just took a shot in the dark on that one, actually. Hey, but I'm glad you're here. You're like, this is weird. This is a solo show. What is going on? Typically, behind the curtain stuff, usually we take about 2 weeks off every single year, usually one near the end of E3, and then usually a week around Christmas time, to be with our families and stuff. Summer is usually actually just a really busy month for us. Marty is out at camp for like 2 months essentially. Tim is actually super busy with some work stuff as well. And so it was like just Jesse and I. And then I was like, you know what? Jesse, in his contract, we're obligated to give him 1 day off every single 6 months. His contract is very stingent like that. Everyone else, I just freely approve their PTO. But Jesse, his contract, we wrote very tightly that we only allow him twice a year. So he decided that this is the week that he's going to take off. And that's not true, actually. Jesse works super hard behind the scenes and everything he does, everything we do. So Jesse was like, or I was like, Jesse, why don't you take the night off and you do you, pal. You do you. And I say that, but like he is still going to have some audio issues to probably edit and adjust during the show. So I said, hey, listen, I will do a solo show. I will fly solo. And so here we are. We are on the mic. Now, we've got a live stream as well, or a video stream that you're watching. So here's something super funny. My laptop is not connecting to the internet right now at all. So I don't know what's going on there, but my phone is. So I'm going to grab all of our news off of my phone, which is not something I super like to do. But sure, there we are, right? I'm really hoping the internet will come back through to my laptop soon. Come on back, internet. That would be great, so I don't have to read through my phone. Well, folks, hey, yeah, that's my opening ramble. I don't know where this episode is gonna go. Listen, all right, gonna be real honest with you. We've got some Nintendo news I'm gonna chat about. I actually asked our fantastic friends over in our Discord community. I said, listen, send me any question. Ask me anything. I'll answer it on the show here. So we're going to do a little bit of an AMA. I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been playing. And who knows where these episodes just magically sort of find their way. About this time last year, I went through like an existential crisis about maybe I'm falling out of video games. And there was a lot of like feedback from that. So I don't necessarily know we're going to do that today. But, you never know where this conversation is going to go. So, yeah. Oh, come on, internet. It'd be like, and I had like tabs and I had everything prepared. I was actually gonna like show what I was reading for the news and we were gonna talk about it. And then here we are. But let's, folks, anyways, the news is let's jump into the news, shall we? And of course, the news is brought to us every single week by you fine folks over at patreon.com. So head over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, whereas for as little as $1 a month, you can help us support keeping our lights and our mics on and allow us and support us to do all the crazy, wacky things that we do every single month. And so we would, of course, appreciate that. I want to give some big shout outs to Reed Dillard, who has joined us, Tom Bell, who has recently joined us, and another individual who, I'm going to be honest with you, this is Japanese writing, it looks like, and I don't even know what this means. But thank you for joining us. You're new Patreon subscribers. Thank you for helping. And it's funny, speaking of keeping the lights and the mics on, I just realized I don't even have my lights on in my office. It'll give me illuminate my camera a little bit more. So give me a second here. There, wow. If you're watching the live stream, pop, it just popped. There we go. Lights are on, which is fantastic. All right, folks, I'm going to be real honest with you. It's been a relatively quiet news week, so I'm going to jump through there. I would say that it has been quiet, but it also hasn't been quiet. There's been some things happening around the Nintendo world and the news that has been occurring around it, but nothing that like directly comes out of Nintendo, really. So there's a couple things what I will call out we've talked about, I'm going through the news. I'm literally scrolling through NintendoEverything.com. That is where I'm pulling my news from. It's one of the places that we typically end up pulling our news from. A couple things I want to talk about. And I, again, had it all set up. All right. FTC. Let's talk FTC, all right? FTC, Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard, all right? Essentially, there is now. Listen, every station right now, every podcast, everything is be like Bobby Kotick ended up spilling what the specs for the new Nintendo Switch are. All right, so let's. I'm gonna write down here Bobby, Activision, Nintendo. Let's do that. Activision. There we go. Bobby Kotick, Activision. Basically, under oath, did Bobby. Here we go. So they're putting all these CEOs up on the stand for the Activision Blizzard acquisition. Sony's trying to stop it. Jim Ryan's there, yada yada yada. And of course, there's a lot of testimony and information coming out of these conversations. And one of the arguments that is sort of being made right now is that, or one of the statements that was being made was essentially the Nintendo Switch is different than all the other consoles, and the demographics and the audience that would like the Nintendo Switch for Mario are not the same ones that would like Call of Duty. And so it's interesting, actually, during the hearing, I was like trial, that's not a hearing, Activision Blizzard, Activision's Bobby Kotick, said he made a bad decision by not bringing Call of Duty to the Switch. And so Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick said he made an error in judgment in not bringing Call of Duty series to the Nintendo Switch. The latest game in the blockbuster shooter series to appear on the Nintendo Switch console was actually back in 2012 with Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and 2013's Call of Duty Ghosts. They were released on the Wii U, which sold very poorly comparatively to its predecessor, the Wii, and successor Nintendo Switch. Kotick has given evidence on Wednesday during the Microsoft case against the U.S. Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, which is seeking to block the Activision $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard. He said he was asked about whether Activision had considered bringing Call of Duty to the Switch prior to its launch in 2017. He said he had, but decided decided against doing so. Hindsight's 2020, right? Like we're all like, oh my God, I can't believe he didn't do this. Like, I want you to remember, hindsight is 2020, all right? They just came off the Wii U. They had ported games over there. It had not done very well. They had probably lost a fair chunk of money. There wasn't the same level of audience as you would see in something like an Xbox or a Sony. So why are you putting money and resources in something that's not probably going to sell and is actually going to burn money? You're not using your resources effectively. So I know everyone's like up in arms. Oh, Bobby, I can't believe it. From a business decision, it actually kind of makes sense. The last thing you showed us, it didn't sell well. The Wii before sold well, but probably wasn't the same audience necessarily, because you got to remember, yes, the Wii was very popular, but it was a very evergreen strategy, and it was very family friendly. It was very kind of open to anyone. Call of Duty by default is a very niche sort of game, right? It is a first-person shooter. It's military-esque, obviously, in what it does. So is it fair to say that the audience who would like or target audience like young gamers who would play Mario Kart and Super Mario Galaxy may not necessarily be the same overlap or the Venn diagram that you would see in something like Call of Duty? Yeah, 100%. That logically makes sense. So is Bobby not putting it on the Switch a bad thing? No, I sort of get it, right? You don't know where the cards are going to lie. So what Kotick says is this: I made a bad judgment. When I had seen the prototype for the Switch, it was different than when I saw the prototype for the Wii, and I thought this was the most extraordinary video game system ever created. He adds, when I saw the prototype for the Switch, I was concerned because they were trying to accomplish a lot with a console that also had a portability capability. I didn't think it was going to be wildly successful. After over 6 years in the market, the Nintendo Switch has sold over 125 million Switch consoles, a feature only better beaten by the DS and PlayStation 2. It's probably the second most successful video game system at this point, which is what Kotick says. Now, of course, this is on the back of in February, Microsoft signed a 10-year binding legal agreement to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo platforms, including full feature and content parity with Xbox, should it complete the Activision sale. Kotick was also asked if Activision would like to bring Call of Duty to Nintendo's unannounced next-gen console, even if Microsoft's acquisition fell through. He then says, I think we would consider it once we have the specs, but I don't have any at present. This is really important because these are actually the words he said. These are actually from the agreement. A lot of what I saw was running around through the internet yesterday was Bobby basically said the specs were closer to a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One specs, so it would be more plausible. So at no point does he actually confirm he knows the specs. At no point does he say at all the specs, but he basically said, yeah, hey, we'd be open to it if the specs would allow for it, but I don't have that information. It is likely that Activision on its own would make a Call of Duty game for Nintendo's next console, he was then asked. Like I said, I think once we get the detailed specifications, we missed out on an opportunity on the past generation with the Switch, so I would like to think we'd be able to do that, but we'll have to wait until then. So this is kind of actually pretty important. Again, a lot of places are like, oh my gosh, we just found out what the next Nintendo Switch is. No, we didn't. Right? Also, is it sort of reasonable to think the specs are somewhere near a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One? Maybe. Again, let's just logically think this out and not fanboy of what we want. Nintendo has stepped away from being part of the graphics race forever, right? So you're all of a sudden like, oh, the next Nintendo Switch is going to be as good as my PlayStation 5. Get your head checked. That's not going to happen. Nintendo's not in that space. It's not in that gaming area at all. Remember, they're also a platform which is very... or a company that's very accepting for we want as many people on our console as possible. How do we do that? Well, we keep the cost of the console relatively low, right? So, in Canada, PlayStation 5 costs $650, I think, right? A Switch costs $350, right? So these are like you just kind of start putting like your logic realm on it, and you're like, yeah, so it's not going to be that. Like, you know what it is, and you know what it's not going to be. Not a shock. So yeah, a lot of internet pundits were like, "Oh my gosh, we just know the specs. We don't really know the specs. We don't." What we have here is Bobby Kotick saying, "Yeah, I didn't think the Switch was going to be as successful as it was. We should have put a game like Call of Duty on it. That would have 100% made sense. Oops, my bad. And yeah, we'd definitely be open to putting it on the next console, but it all depends on what the specs are, which, by the way, I don't know." Ladies and gentlemen, that's the summary of what happened there. Everything else in between is hearsay and speculation. Now, did Bobby make a miss? Yeah, he did. Like that's a big miss, but I also kind of understand why. Again, coming off the Wii and the Wii U's success and sales numbers, you would kind of speculate that maybe it wasn't successful. Now, I will say Activision has since kind of, I'm not saying necessarily reversed their course because we don't see a Call of Duty game on there. And again, I want to just clarify this. So much of this argument is literally about one game, Call of Duty. Right? We are going to bat for Call of Duty. This is the argument. This is how much of a cash cow Call of Duty is for the platforms. Now, I'm sure that somebody is looking at a board member is looking at okay, so if Bobby had said yes to Call of Duty and it was on the Switch, how much money would we have made? Sure, somebody's probably done that math in theory. They probably don't really want to know that number. Again, though, I would sometimes argue, does the Venn diagram overlap in regards to Call of Duty and what you want on a Nintendo Switch? The player base, there has to be a base of players who are like, I want to buy a Nintendo Switch, so I want a handheld, lower performing platform, and I want Call of Duty on it, and I'm going to play it there. That Venn diagram becomes low, right? Like the if-then factors then become lower, that it's sort of understandable. It's the same statement of Apex Legends is a great example. Apex Legends runs on the Nintendo Switch. Is that the best place to play it? No, right? It's better to play it on any other platform, essentially, because it is a first-person shooter, which moves quickly, and the Switch doesn't process. But doesn't process as well. But am I willing to give that up for the portability of the game? That's sort of the argument, right? You have a portable device that casts to a TV, essentially, through the dock. Are you willing to compromise? That's essentially the question here. So like like again the group that would then say that narrows down, and we know that Call of Duty or COD is such a Twitch based, um, high intensity, best graphics card, right? Like these are the things that people want to play the game. You know, so I can see the furthest, I can shoot the furthest, like so. When you overlay that output of what the expectation is of the game on top of the Switch, it doesn't make logical sense. Now, could they design a game that is basically like Switch just for the Switch and it's Call of Duty and supports that platform, like again, just spin-offs of they have before and not like what everyone else gets? Of course they can. Sure, why not, right? It will be very interesting to see what ends up happening from this. It's sort of interesting how like Nintendo's like, we're not even in this. Like we signed an agreement, we're cool, just go away. And they're getting dragged into these conversations, and people are like, you know, how is the Nintendo Switch platform, and how is the you know, how does this perform? So I find that super interesting. But I find the FTC thing actually is very fascinating to basically watch. Also, like if you get a chance, I'd highly recommend watching and listening to some of the content that's out there. Like Microsoft actually put forward a document that they had like redacted everything in it, but then when they put on a photocopy, like used like a highlighter, and when they put basically the paper on a photocopier, it kind of almost like took out the redactions. Um, Tom Warner from The Verge is actually a great person if you're watching or wanting to watch some of this content that's being out there. So follow him on Twitter. He's got some really great stuff from the FTC, which is pretty hysterical. What else can we tell you from the news? A couple of other things from the news. Nintendo said they're going to use the Nintendo account, My Nintendo account, going forward on their new platform. I don't really know why everyone is blowing this up like, holy cow, this is the first we've ever heard of this. This is amazing. Nintendo's going to do this thing. How revolutionary. Nintendo literally told us they were doing this about 2 years ago in an investor's call. I remember the actual diagram. It was the date. There was the Nintendo Switch, and there was a timeline, and there was XX, and it was like unannounced console, and it showed this bar that went across. It said Nintendo Online account or Nintendo Online account, and then this purple triangle that went up, which said like added value. Yeah, Nintendo has finally gotten along with the times that like your Nintendo account will move forward to your next console, and that you just need one. Sort of similar to like what all the other consoles did. So the idea there being is that like if I have cloud saves, if I have my subscriptions, I have all these things, then they should transition over to the new console. That's interesting. Did we just sort of get confirmation that the Nintendo's next console might be backwards compatible? Something to think about there. We have cloud saves. We have cloud saves for games we've purchased using a Nintendo account. That's interesting. So, again, also not super shocking. We've talked about before about how I'm a full believer that the next Nintendo platform will be like the Nintendo Switch 2 or Switch XL or Super Switch or something, or at least that our cartridges that we have purchased, they'll use the same cartridge format, and that everything will essentially be backwards compatible. That's what I suspect, at least. I think that they are very logical. They've seen the handheld, they've approached it as a handheld. They've seen the handheld success it's had. They're going to emulate the DSi, the DS model, like the Game Boy Advance, all of those kind of upskills to make their next versioning is my theory, at least. And I think that makes that transition, that Nintendo Switch Online account, just easily transition with them as well. So that's my opinion. So I don't know. Again, folks, of course, let me know in the comments below if I'm right or wrong. And if I'm wrong, that's a thing that happens every once in a while. It's cute. Let's see what else is going through here. I'm just scrolling through the news, seeing what y'all should know. Today, Annapurna Interactive had their showcase. This was sort of the last of all the big showcases. And a couple of games that finally got release dates. Cocoon! We had heard this game actually about, I think, a year ago. Finally gets a release date and a release trailer. That is coming out on September 29th. So this is coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. And actually, hold on a second. Let me just grab the good old... Again, I am literally doing this off my phone because because my internet is still not here working. What else did we get here for coming to? Yeah, that's coming to Nintendo Switch. That's Cocoon coming September 29th. By the way, that looks super good, and I'm very intrigued by it. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes is also coming to the Nintendo Switch. This is a super kind of puzzle narrative game. It looks really, really cool, actually, so I'm interested in that when it shows up. So that's a Nintendo Switch title. Scrolling through here, literally on their Twitter account. I watched the event and I was like, oh, okay. No update on Outer Wilds. So, there's that. There is that. Thirsty Suitors, I thought. Thirsty Suitors, November 2nd? Although, I don't know if that's a Switch title. I think it is a Switch title. Hold on a second here. Yes, yeah, there it goes. By Outer Loop That's what happens when your tongue doesn't work. Outer Loop Games, November 2nd. So we got three games announced at the or provided dates actually from the Aperna Interactive session. So that's great. I think that's like sort of the last of the big showcases, if I'm being completely honest, and that's okay. I think Cocoon looks amazing, by the way. You should definitely check out Cocoon when you get a chance. Cocoon. Let's see what else we got here for news. Let me scroll through. Nintendo Switch Online got an update for you folks who are Sega Genesis fans. And that is out actually right now. Ghouls and Ghosts, Crusaders of Senti, Landstalker, and Revenge of Shinobi are out on the Nintendo Switch Online now. It's part of the June game updates for the Sega Genesis. Ghouls and Ghosts I'm very aware of. I played that a ton when I was a kid. I didn't have a Sega Genesis, but a friend of ours had a Sega Genesis, and I loved playing me some Ghouls and Ghosts. Very tough game, but I enjoyed every single moment of it. What is this? I'm sorry, I'm watching the video here. Crusaders of Senti really looks like a Legend of Zelda ripoff. Link to the Past, actually. And then the Revenge of Shinobi. That name sounds familiar. I have probably seen it in the past, but yeah, that's a thing. That is 100% a thing. Let's see what else we got here. By the time that you hear this, or most likely by the time you hear this, everybody 1-2 Switch is now out. Yeah, that's a thing. That is the thing. Play hilarious team-based party games with up to 8 players using Joy-Con controllers or up to 100 players using smart devices. Kick off the Fun Fest on June 30th on the Nintendo Switch. I'm not biting on that one necessarily, but I'm interested in watching other people see. Again, I mean, the game is priced at $30, so maybe that's not a big bite, but I don't know. Did not catch my attention. If we get the code for review, we'll be happy to share it and stream it. But that is sort of, sorry, there's a yawn there. That is sort of the way things are going right now. So yeah. Folks, that is kind of it for our news. Well, I will also say this, actually. The Pikmin 4 demo is out now, by the way. I'll talk about that and what I've been playing, but that is out, and I'm enjoying that. Spoiler alert, there's my thing. Let's now take a moment and hear from our sponsors. Ladies and gentlemen, support of today's episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Of course, Manscaped is the leader in below-the-belt trimming, and products for men. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, it is hot. Right now in where I'm in Lethbridge, it is 31 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is for you. All right, figure out your own Fahrenheit Celsius conversion thing. It's hot. It's hot. I'm in a basement. It's cooler down here. I've literally got to go take off the air conditioning cooler today to get some cold air pumping in this house. I'm heading to Nashville in a couple days from now, and I'm really worried that I am going to be just sweating. It's a sort of sweat right now that, like, if you go for a walk, things are feeling sticky. Things are feeling a little bit chafy. You know what I'm saying? Well, by the way, folks, you don't need to feel that way, because if you head over to manscaped.com and use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, you can pick up some of their amazing products, such as their deodorant, which, by the way, I absolutely love. I bought myself 2 sticks. It lasts me 6 months, all right? Every 3 months, 1 new stick. And you can actually get yourself on the performance package plan where they will actually just mail it out to you. Just mail it out to you as opposed to you having to go order it, which is fantastic. Do yourself a favor there. But they've also got ball deodorant because it is sweaty. It is stinky. And you do not want, listen, you put deodorant on your arms. Why would you not put deodorant on other places that are potentially very stinky and sweaty? Put deodorant on, and I'm going to tell you, it feels so much better. It doesn't chafe. It feels great, right? All right, do that. Do that, okay? And of course, if you're out there, listen, if you got a beard, you've got like long hair, you got to shave that. You got to keep it trimmed. Nintendo does. Manscaped has you covered with all their fantastic performance package products, such as their Weed Whacker 4.0. They have got their actual beard hedger trim kit to keep it nice and tight. So, folks, do yourself a favor. Get the right products so that you feel good this summer. And again, if you're outside in the summer taking your shirt off like I'm a guy who's self-conscious because I am very hairy. I like to just give myself a good little trim and get the hair gone before I jump in the pool or take my shirt off. But then, of course, I'm like super white and then I get a sunburn. It's a whole vicious cycle. In some ways, the hair just absorbs the light. Nonetheless, I digress. Head over to manscaped.com. Use the promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping. Back to you. And by back to you, I mean back to me. Here I am. I didn't go anywhere. Here I am. Let's hit some buttons. As a live studio audience laughing. Let's do this one. Oh, there you go. That's what you've been playing. What have I been playing? Well, I've been playing some more Tears of the Kingdom because I love that game and it's fantastic. Where am I right now? Again, I always get so cautious of saying like where I am because I don't want to spoil anything, but also like everyone kind of knows the game. So, and like the premise of the game. Yeah. So I guess I'll say like I'm done a third temple. So it all depends on what order you do that. But I would say this temple was wet. It was a water temple. All right. Man, this game is so big. So big. I have a challenge with it sometimes because sometimes I feel like I just want to take the golden path. Like I want to get those main objectives done right away. And so like I finished the last temple and I was like, okay, now I got to go to the next regional event, right? And I was like, oh, I should just like, transport to the nearest shrine near the regional event and then like walk the rest of the way in. Because by the way, my map is only like 50% open. I still have tons of black space I have not filled in yet at all. I have barely gone to the underground. I've hung out on the Sky Islands a couple times, but I've definitely not made my way down under the underground yet. But then I'm like, man, I should just like golden path this kind of essentially, like just zip to the closest regional event and go. But then I'm like, but the game, like, it's the wonder of the exploration, just like getting yourself there, or walking there, or hey, I'm gonna walk my way to this thing, and then oh look, what's that? What's that shiny? Oh look at this, is a side quest. So I find that sort of challenging, but still so much love it. Like just so good. You can just like lose hours and so much time into that game. Yeah, I'm very interested to see like what their next not iteration, but like, are they going to do a DLC? Are they going to do an update? Like, what's it going to be? Sort of similar to the Master Quest or whatever it was with Tears or Breath of the Wild. And so that'll be interesting to see what they finally end up doing with it. But nonetheless, that'll be cool. So yeah, super enjoying that. Oh, I got something interesting I could share. I have essentially fallen off of Fortnite. What? I know okay, slow your car down, go to the side, put your car in the yield or hazard light so that you can just take a breath there and like, so you're not in shock. I'm sorry if someone just passed over in a restaurant as they heard this. It's shocking. I know. I just stopped playing this last season. And I shouldn't say I stopped playing because I did play last night. I didn't buy the battle pass. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this grind anymore. I'm not. The video game time I'm having, I really want to invest that somewhere else in more narrative-based games, in more games that I enjoy, finish off some of the back catalog. There's a lot of great games coming up that I'm super excited for. So I just kind of like stopped. It kind of felt like this hamster wheel that you were on to feel like you got your value. Now I will say, I want to be clear here. I have not given up fully on battle passes. Jeff and I, my friend, who we play Overwatch with every single Monday, we're battle passing. So I've kind of dropped from 2 battle passes down to 1 battle pass. I have not played Apex Legends for, I would say well over a year now. So like that's well done. But Fortnite, I just kind of like done. Now, my daughter was playing last night, my youngest, on the Switch, and we have a couple Switches in the house. And I was like, "Hey, you want to play some Fortnite together?" And yeah, absolutely. So we jumped in and played duos together, and we got a battle royale or a victory royale together, which is pretty awesome. We were playing duos, and so like I'm not like actively trying to grind out my battle pass, which is sort of a new experience for me. Which is sort of like oddly freeing, if that makes sense. And actually, the Overwatch Battle Pass last season, I didn't even finish. I got to level 60 as opposed to level 80. The argument would be like you didn't fully like get value out of it because you pay for the 80 levels, but you only did the 60, so you only got like 75% of it. I also want to make a statement here. I want somebody, and I think Halo does this. Halo Infinite, I think, does it. I want Overwatch to do this. Actually, I want anyone who does a battle pass to do this. That you can have dueling battle passes at the same time. So if I haven't finished off last season's battle pass and I buy this season's battle pass, that should just be fine. All right, you can just kind of keep rolling and keep going. I think that's what they should allow. That would be cool. Dueling battle passes, right? And so, because I mean, the reality is you've paid for something, but I'm not actually getting like I've paid for the virtual properties in a battle pass when I pay my $10, but I only get them if I accomplish certain things in that. Well, actually, I've paid for them, so shouldn't I have them? Like, it's sort of like going to the drive-through and ordering a meal, and you're like, you ordered a fries, a burger, and a pop, but I'm only going to give you two of those three things. But you did pay for all of them, but I'm only giving you two out of three. By the way, if you don't eat the burger and the pop quick enough, you don't get the fries. I don't know if that analogy sticks, but you know what I'm getting at there. All right, you can see what I'm thinking, right? You get that. So, yeah, that's I don't know, my thought on battle passes at least. What else have I been playing? Oh, I talked about it earlier. The Pikmin 4 demo. I am super. I'd never played any Pikmin game until I played Pikmin 3, and I was like, yes, I am in, and I love it. I love Pikmin 3. And so when I heard Pikmin 4, I was like, yes, I am in. I've been playing that demo. By the way, the demo is also available on our channel. Jesse did a Let's Play of it last night, or whenever you're hearing this, so it's available if you want to watch it there. Pikmin 4 is fantastic. All right. It's just lovely. I absolutely love every moment of this. This game comes out 2 days before my birthday. I've actually taken the Friday off just because I have another appointment that day, and I'm so excited to just pick it up. I have been loving the demo. The demo progress carries over, which is fantastic, and it is a really meaty, really good demo. And I think this is like the perfect follow-up game to Breath of the Wild. So I am so super excited about it. I love the addition of the dog. I like riding the dog. I like how now you actually really there is this kind of like split of doing. You can control the dog independently of your character and your Pikmin, and like there's so many little processes going on and puzzles to solve, and it is so fun. So I am so excited for Pikmin 4. Yeah, that's like my next like most excited game. Now I will say I have not purchased Pikmin 1 and 2. I know they just released because I don't want to like. I don't think I'll be done Tears of the Kingdom. I think I'll be done Tears of the Kingdom potentially right around the time Pikmin 4 comes out. At least the golden path that I'm fine with taking. Now you could make the argument, well, Justin, you paid $80 for a game and you're just finishing the golden path. All right, I can go back and finish other things later. All right, but like, and also, by the way, for users who are like, what's the golden path? The golden path is like, we need to do main quests. All right, you don't do a lot of the side quests. You don't do anything else. But I think based on my progress in Tears of the Kingdom and based on when Pikmin 4 is releasing, I think that timing is going to work perfectly, and it'll be like this perfect like coming out of Tears of the Kingdom and moving right into Pikmin 4. So super excited for Pikmin 4. You should check it out. It's a very cool game, super chill. Yeah, I just really enjoy it. And they got a 2-player option, and they've got like 2-player on-screen option, and then they've also got like a game that you can play, like a split screen, kind of like a. It's not bingo. What is it? It's like collect a certain amount of things within a certain amount of time. Split screen event. That did not help me describing that at all. Doing this thing with the video game where you collect stuff, you know, that thing. So I apologize, but that is essentially what it is. Yeah. So Pikmin 4, you should definitely check out. I would highly recommend it. Plus, by the way, there are some ton of great games that are coming out in July and August. Maybe you're like, Justin, really? Like, what games are you looking forward to? Awesome. Thank you for asking. I'm glad that you did that. Let me tell you the games that I am looking forward to here in July and August. Oxenfree 2, which is coming out. Now, here's the interesting thing. Oxenfree 2 is also on Netflix for free if you have Netflix mobile. I might try Netflix on my web browser and see if I can play through that and stream that just for fun. Like, listen, I'm already paying for Netflix and I get the game for free. Why not try that? But Oxenfree 2 comes out. That looks really cool. That Disney game, which I can't remember the name of right now. Oh my gosh, I heard really good things about it. Oh, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I totally forgot about this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you don't really properly prepare show notes. You just kind of do your thing. Scrolling through, you all know the Disney game I'm talking about. Illusion Island. There it is. Oh my gosh. That comes out. That also comes out right before my birthday, so I'm excited about that. WrestleQuest is early August. Sea of Stars is the late August. So like there is some great timing. Like basically between now and middle of November, there's almost a game every 2 weeks that has piqued my interest in some way. So we be eating good. You know what I'm saying? We be eating good. Yeah, so that is that. Let's jump into some. I listen. I said I do an AMA. Ask me anything. So the folks in our Discord sent me some questions. So let me open that up right now. Again, folks, this is all coming off my phone. Where is it? Nintendo Dad's podcast. Here we go. Nope, that's not the one I'm looking for. Ask the Dads. There it is. Lots of questions in here. So hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, let's ask some questions here. All right, so Chris HL, I'll go straight to Chris actually. First, he says, hey, why not instead of a solo cast, continue the Canadian Nintendo Dads Takeover celebration on Canada Day? Chris, I love that idea. I'm going to be very honest with you. Just didn't have time to coordinate it and figure it out. But yeah, happy Canada Day, folks. By the way, July 1st. If you know a Canadian, you love Canadians. Of course you do. Whether it's me, whether it's Chris, whether it's Bruce, whether it's Sean Capri, any of these fantastic Canadians that you know, hey, send us a DM. Say happy Canada Day. Send us a picture of maple syrup, a moose, hockey, whatever you believe our our country is well known for. Do that. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Question from Hoots. Did Jesse ever get past the temple he was stuck on? That's a great question, Hoots. I don't know. I think, Jesse, usually when he kind of like is like, I'm done with a game, he'll usually stop. I'm hoping he finishes Tears of the Kingdom because I think it's so critical. I think it's such a cultural touch point that everyone's having a conversation. I really hope he just kind of works through it, but maybe he needs to take a break and go play some Picross. Question number 2. How is your fantasy critic publisher looking this year? Which games are you still going to bid on to fill your open slots? So Hoots, yeah, thanks very much. For those who don't know, we do a fantasy critic kind of publisher where you are a publisher and you get to select games that you are publishing, and then if they do really well, you get points. And at the total end of the year, the top 3 top people we give money to. I think we give like $100 to the winner and $50 to second place. So let me tell you right now. So of course my publisher's name is Business Justin. And ladies and gentlemen, so what happens? We do this draft. I think it was in February, and you basically kind of do a snake draft approach where you get to select. I was actually the first person who ended up going. And so I actually selected Tears of the Kingdom. So of course that was a fantastic thing for me, which I was excited about. And so my games that I bid on was Tears of the Kingdom, which of course did very well for me. Forspoken, which did not do very well for me. Metroid Prime 4, which does not look like it's going to be revealed this year or come out this year, so that's going to hurt. And someone also locked me in that one, so I can't get rid of that. WrestleQuest, which I do look forward to WrestleQuest, and I think it's going to be pretty good, so I'm excited to try that one. And an unannounced Donkey Kong platformer game, which you just go for broke. You know what I mean? I look at this as a lot of fun and a bit of crack, a bit of fun, so to say. And so I have some open spots. So I'll tell you, Hoots, and I'm saying this now because I've already put my bids in. What did I bid on today? I counter bid. I counterbidded Cocoon, which I talked about earlier. I think that looks really good. I think that could be could score very well. And I took a bid in today for Star Ocean, the second story R. So I think that those are two bids that are in for games for me. So I've got a couple open spots. I think I've got 3 open spots. I think right now 4, 3 or 4. Let me take 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 open spots. So yeah, hoping for either of those. Those will be pretty good. But it's one of those things that I'm getting beat out by a lot of people here actually as I go through this. Like Forspoken did not help me, and then having locks in games that are not coming out. What is this? Who is this? Like Solo something? Get out of here. He has an 88 score right now. How did you get an 88 score? You picked actually really good games. I understand you now. He's got an 88, and I got like a 23 or something like that. What do I got here? Hold on a second. Hold on. Where is 29 is what I got. So I'm getting beaten, all right? Despite having Tears of the Kingdom. I'm not good at these things, but I enjoy doing them anyways. Yeah, so that's what I'm... let's see. Hold on a second. My wife is like literally texting me at the same time, and so like it moved my spot here. Will you be doing anything fun to celebrate Canada Day? Asks Darth Platypus. Actually, just celebrate Canada Day. So interestingly enough, on Sunday, the day following, July 2nd, my wife and I are heading to Nashville. We're flying out from Calgary at like an 11 a.m. flight in the morning. We're driving up early in the morning too, like 6 o'clock. And then my kids are also heading out to camp, summer camp for a bit of time. So Canada Day, we'll probably watch the fireworks from the lake, which is not too far from us. And that'll be kind of it. It's supposed to also be like 32 degrees Celsius here. So that is a scorcher. So probably just getting prepared to leave more than anything else. Nothing too crazy or nothing too fancy. So also, what character would you like an amiibo of? Not a character, but I would really like a amiibo of Mr. Iwata. I think that would be cool. And yeah, he's not a character, but I just think he's a pretty cool guy, and that would be an awesome thing to have. Hambone Johnny asks, if Nintendo, including your own Switch, completely vanished tomorrow, would you still play video games, and where would you play it? That's a great question, Hambone. I would still play video games because I love video games, because it is the story around video games that I enjoy, right? It is the world building, it's the storytelling, it's the narrative, that kind of stuff. Where would I play it? This is going to be a controversial statement. I'd probably play it over in Sony. I know, right? I'd probably play it over in PlayStation, because I think right now PlayStation has a much more compelling first-party library of games that I think I'd be interested in. The Last of Us is a great example. Spider-Man 2 is a great example. So I think that's probably where I would play. When I had a PlayStation, I was playing Final Fantasy 7. I was playing Metal Gear Solid. Right? I think that's probably where I would end up going. Sorry, Xbox people. I know you're probably going to be mad at me as well. Zablanc asks, have you lost your love of Mario? Zablanc, I assume this is going to be in relation to my statement of like, hey, I'm not super excited for Super Mario Brothers Wonder. No, I'm still, listen. All right, there's a lot of Mario out there. We've got a Mario RPG. We've got this 2D Mario. There's 3D Mario. My favorite Mario is 3D Mario, right? I like Galaxy. I like Mario 64. I like Odyssey. 3D Mario is my jam. I still like 2D Mario, but it doesn't I'm not like, yeah, this is amazing. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll play that. Looks like it's multiplayer on screen. The kids will have a bunch of fun with it. I'm grand with that, right? But, I don't know if if someone is like, if you could have a new game from these franchises, where would you go? Like if it was Metroid, Mario, Zelda, and Donkey Kong, I don't know if I'd put Mario in my top 3. I'd like to see a new Zelda game. I'd love to see like a 2D pixelated, Link Between Worlds, Link to the Past, Zelda. That would be amazing, man. I'd love something else in that kind of like a look. Listen, Metroid. Come on, Metroid. I like just more Metroid to be awesome, and of course Donkey Kong Country. So of those 3, I'd take those before I take a new 2D Mario. Again, not saying that I'm upset there's a 2D Mario, and I will play it, and I will buy it, and we'll have fun on stream with it. My kids will enjoy it, but it's not the one that I want right now. And again, not everything is for me, and I totally get that as well. So good question, LeBlanc. I assume that's what you're upset about. Also, hey, Super Mario RPG, I'm super excited about. So that's a 2D, 2.5D. I don't know what that is. We'll take it though. Hambone Johnny asks, what's your go-to drink of choice, alcoholic and non-alcoholic? Hambone Hambone, my go-to drink of choice. I drink a lot of water. If I'm like, that's so bland. But I drink a lot of water. So that's a go-to. I love a Slurpee, like a good Slurpee. Again, it's 32 degrees out here, 32 degrees Celsius. I had a Slurpee not too long ago. I love that. So I mean, that's sugary pop, right? And in frozen form, that's a go-to. I'll have a Slurpee all year round is pretty much it. I also love a really good iced coffee. Tim Hortons makes a pretty good iced coffee. Dunkin' Donuts, you do not, by the way. I will only ever have it once when I'm in the U.S. Like when I go down the travel for the U.S., I'll have it like one time during my trip because it's way too sugary, but it's still not bad. So an iced coffee's good. Beer is my alcohol of choice. You know what? Yeah, it's like that would. Yes, beer would be my alcohol of choice. I'm not really super picky about it, if I'm completely honest. I drink a little bit of everything: a good IPA, a good stout, good lager. Right. So I'm kind of across the spectrum. I'm really not a like for me. I would like a good weekend is let's go for a beer tour. Listen, I know how beer is made, but I like going for beer tastings and samples and flights and just kind of sampling all these kind of different beers and flavors. So that's what I would say. Yeah, great question though, Hambone. I appreciate that. Yeah, water is sort of a cheeky answer though. Marty says, say 3 negative things about Donkey Kong. Dixie Kong was sort of a weird idea, or not Dixie Kong. Oh, his girlfriend was what's her name? I cannot remember. It was such a byproduct of the early 90s of like, let's try and be like kind of edgy. And they're like, oh, look at this Kong in a bikini. That was super weird. Donkey Kong 64 is a horrible, horrible game. And it is a shame that they have so negatively. It's a shame that Nintendo has not done more with the new Donkey Kong franchise. Also, Donkey Kong and Mario on the 3DS games, those little puzzle games were also fantastic. So I love those. Why doesn't so that's Marty? Thank you for that. I see. Actually, by the way, folks, I see Marty in like a week from now, or less than a week from now. We're gonna be, and I'm in Nashville. He's actually meeting me and Jody. And I think his wife's coming, which I think awesome would be great for lunch. And so watch for some photos on our social media, on the Nintendo Dad social media account, where we're having some hot chicken together. And also, Marty purchased some Nintendo figures for me a while back that he has not shipped to me, and so he may be bringing those, and I may owe him some money. That's fine though, which is great. Nick asks, why doesn't Canadian smoke smell like maple syrup? Very disappointed. Nick, I don't know if I can answer for that. I really don't. Because I was going to say because the maple trees weren't burning is why it doesn't smell like maple syrup. Yeah, that's a good answer. Sorry about that, by the way, folks. The export of smoke, right? I mean, here you go. Take a little bit of an export from us. Sorry, that's not. And that's a great question though, Nick. Disappointing for sure. Tim asks, what would be your ideal 10-year anniversary party? Tim, if 10-year Nintendo Dad anniversary party, by the way, he said, Tim, if money was no option or was not a barrier, I would want to have all the Nintendo Dads, all the past guests, or all the past, hosts, all of our affiliate podcasts, like our not affiliate, but our other podcasts, like Dad's After Dark and Game Pass News and Retro Logic, all in one location. It was like an open door, all fan weekend expo event where we could all hang out together, party together, have drinks, like whatever, and it could be whatever anyone wants it to be. You want to hang out and play Mario Party together? You want to go to the pub and drink together? You just want to like be a community together? That would be amazing. That's what I would super, super enjoy. Again, if money was no object, then we could do that for our community. That is not what's going to happen, but that would be amazing. That would be so ideal. We do have some ideas that are kind of brewing in the back end right now for a celebration of our 10 years. I will say that we are trying to make it. Some of the things I've got brewing is, and I don't want to spill it right now because I haven't told the guys yet, but I want it to be very community inclusive, and I want for it to be a larger celebration of kind of everything we do. So I'm excited for that. So more to come on that as we kind of work through it. And again, of course, that support is provided by heading over to patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Little as $1 a month, you can help us reach these goals. Also, by the way, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you get our show ad free. So that's something. Darth Platypus asks, you're making a Nintendo Dad's game. What style is the game? It is a retro platformer, 4-player co-op punch 'em, beat 'em up game. Yes, sort of in the style. You know what? Here, I'll tell you what it is. It's in the style of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game, and we are fighting through various locations: Canada, the U.S., Ireland, and we are having to and like corporations, and we are on a quest to save our community from the evil traps and ways of other bad podcasts like the Nintendo Drive. I don't know. There you go. You put me on the spot, Darth Platypus, but I love the question, and there you go. Drew asks, "Do you think Donkey Kong manscapes? You would know." Is what Drew says. Yeah, 100%. I think he does. You know why? Because listen, that hair would get really long, so he would definitely be using something like the hedge trimmer to just trim his entire body, so that it is like one consistent kind of puffy, well trimmed length. Like, yes, he may be crazy. I mean, he looks like he wears a tie. He looks like a guy who is all about being well polished, put together, and cares about what he looks like. So I think he probably definitely like make sure his body hair is a specific length so that it flows nicely and it looks good. Of course, Drew, why wouldn't you? That is a ridiculous question. Moving on. Tim asks, you had a week. How do you feel about the next 9 months for Nintendo? I think the next 9 months for Nintendo is actually quite good. I think they've got some great games in their repertoire. I think definitely if you were to look at, the commentary was, hey, Nintendo does not have a big tentpole game after Legend of Zelda. Yeah, you're right. They don't. Right. That is their big pop for 2023. And I think that, but they have got some great things in the library, right? I think the Super Mario Wonder is going to sell like gangbusters. Super Mario RPG is going to sell like gangbusters. Pikmin is going to sell amazing. Wario is going to sell good, right? And then you look at your lineup for next year, right, where you have got presumably Metroid Prime 4. You've got your Luigi's Mansion remake. You've got this Peach game. Listen, solid production, solid games coming out. They don't all have to be A's, right? You can do some B's and C's, which is what you're getting there, and kind of padding out that library. I mean, really, to think about it, like it's going to be pretty crazy that in 2024 is when we're probably going to be seeing potentially a Nintendo Switch refresh, right? And so that's a pretty long life cycle, and I think they're doing really well by it. So they are not hurting, and I think they're proving to you that they have the games and to do it. Taking my question from this is a bit of a business. Okay, hold on a second. Mecca, I'll come back to you in a second because I got to go to a different page. Justin, this is from Bruce. Are you playing more Nintendo games nowadays or Xbox? I'm playing more Nintendo games. So for these who don't remember, I got an Xbox back when we were in New York. Tim was so kind as to give me his to try and demo, and I've been playing with it now for about 9 months, and so I need to put a ring on it if you would soon. I will say this. What I've been using my Xbox for primarily, you're all going to hate me for this, is playing Overwatch and Fortnite because it plays so much better there. Like the graphics are so much better, and I love playing it in handheld. And I have played some of the games. I played Deathloop on there. I played Planet of Lana on there. Those are great games. I love it. I do not subscribe to Game Pass, although I think it's the best deal in gaming. It's too much for me. I need to be focused on what I end up playing, and so having one, like we've joked about before, but having like one console is like that's all. Like, yeah, everything on PlayStation looks amazing. I don't have that, so why even spend time and energy thinking about it? So in some ways, my Xbox is really just my Xbox is really just my Overwatch and Fortnite platform, really. But I think it still performs really well, and I'm impressed by it. And I think the Xbox Series S is an amazing platform. But I also argue that I don't think like Xbox had a great showcase, but Xbox needs to do better, and I think Starfield could be a first step for them. Abyssal, when will Canada stop hotboxing and sending all the smoke south? Abyssal, I'm sorry about that. Sorry, eh? That's sorry, guys, about smoke coming your way. That's not very kind of us, eh? Listen, we also export out hockey players, so most of your hockey teams that have won the Stanley Cup are just done by Canadian teams, also. But you're welcome, eh? Sorry, guys, sorry. If you want to come up and get some real beers from us, you can do that, also. Sorry. All right, Mecca's question. Do you think the release of the Super Mario RPG remake is going to spark a whole debate? The whole debate around the Link's Awakening remake had on whether or not this is a $60 game or not, especially if it's going to be faithful or remake the original. And also, do you think that Wonder will outsell Super Mario Brothers Deluxe? The internet will always make a fuss about anything for money, especially about game prices. I think you're gonna hear it, but everyone like it's gonna be like it's the loud people who get the notice, right? Basically, but I think that it's still gonna be fine. Everyone's gonna whine about the price of it as long as Nintendo doesn't charge like $90 in Canada for it or $70 in the US. You're gonna be all right for it. But yeah, I mean, this is the Nintendo. By the way, this is right before Good Friday. Nintendo's gonna like have and same with Wonder. They're going to have it at the highest price they can to make the most money because that's when they're going to sell the most because Black Friday. So don't be shocked by that one. Also, like when you look at any of these remakes, like they are like from the ground up. Like the story and the remains the same, but the assets are completely new. So I think that's a challenge for people to get their head over. But yes, people make a fuss about it. I think Wonder will sell more than Deluxe, and I think the reasoning behind that is because we had the game or the movie this year, and so everyone's kind of got Mario fever. And also, P.S. Right now, like if you look at the top 20 and top 20 games, did their or NPD did not the NPD sales numbers. They now go by another company's name. I can't remember what it is. 20 games, top 20 games, not digitally included. Sales through May. Tears of the Kingdom was on there. Shocker. Smash Brothers was on there. Mario Kart was on there. Super Mario Deluxe, and I think Odyssey was on there, right? So all these like Nintendo Mario properties, it's the year of Mario. They're gonna, or not the year of Mario, but they are gonna continue to because of the movie. Ebicel, how many loonies could two loonies if two loonies could loony? Nice, thank you, Ebicel. The answer is a fiver. The answer is a fiver. Those are fantastic questions, and we got one more question from our good friend Barry Dunn. I'm gonna play this here. And then Jesse's going to insert audio. So let me just hear with this and let me answer Barry's question.
It's your favorite Irish guy, Barry. How's it going? Just a quick reminder, guys, that Impact Direct returns June 30th at 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, Justin, I've got a big question for you. If you could choose one dream game to be a part of as a voice actor, what would it be and why? Cheers.
Oh, Barry Dunn coming in here with the hot, good, fiery question. Of course, that is our good friend Barry Dunn, who is doing the Impact Direct coming up this June 30th. So make sure you check that out. P.S. You might see me there, so you should watch that because I like to help out Barry. Barry's fantastic. Love hanging out with Barry when I was in Ireland, lived there, and we support each other, which is awesome. Barry also does some voiceover acting, and so do I. What video game would I want to be in? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I would love to be in a game that allows for a lot of like actual character development and like meaty dialogue, not just like a wahoo, oof, right? Not just a grunts, but actually to develop a character and breathe life into it more effectively and actually have some range and some narrative behind it. So I think like games for me that come to mind, I think of stuff like The Last of Us, I think is a great example of it. Maybe something like The Witcher, something like Starfield is a great example, right? I'm sure there's tons of audio files there. Mass Effect, games where there are dynamic choices that you make and your characters change. Outer Wilds, right? That's the right one. Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds, there it is. Like Bethesda, kind of big open RPGs, stuff like that, that actually gives you a lot of meaty, actual, genuine substance to your VO and your character development is probably where I would be the most interested in. Great question, Barry. Thanks for sending that along. And of course, folks, check out the Impact Direct on June 30th. Go see him. Support Barry. Maybe we love Barry. And Barry, I wish I was with you right now, just having a pint, hanging out. And yeah, so hopefully things are well with you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. An hour-long show, an hour-long podcast, and it was just me talking. I'm going to be honest with you, my throat is starting to hurt, though, a little bit. That's more on me than anything else. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your continued support over here on Nintendo Dads. We really cannot do this without you. I am so thankful for everything that you do. I'm thankful for the support. I'm thankful not just like the Patreon kind of support, but thankful for just like being a part of our community, showing up every, when I ask these questions and people just like send in so many questions to ask. Thank you. That helps. Like, you're helping build content for us. You're amazing. Thank you. Thank you for all of those things that you do. Thank you for being okay with a solo show. Thank you for allowing us to take weeks off. Thank you for allowing, like, your support is allowing me like to fulfill a dream of mine, which is to go to PAX West. I know it sounds really crazy. One of my biggest dreams was to go to E3. That's not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen. But because of your support, not just like financially, but also like watching our content, listening to our podcast, promoting it, following us, all of those things, commenting, it allows for us to, when I apply for a media, to have kind of the meat behind it, right? To say, yeah, we are an institution. We have people who watch our content. That allows for us to be accepted into media events and deliver more content to you. And then for Nintendo of America to partner with us and reach out and say like, hey, we hear you want to come to the Nintendo Live event, we got you covered, right? And we've got tickets for you. And so these are amazing things because of you. And I hope that you feel like you're brought along on this journey. And we are so thankful that you allow for us to be part of your life and your community, and just whatever that means to you, right? Whether you just listen to us in the car on your way to work, whether you're active in our Discord, whether you're watching our live streams, whether you just retweet every once in a while, whether you've been here for like the almost 9 years we've been doing this, or you're new here, welcome. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We appreciate you. This is just an amazing opportunity that we have, and we're so thankful because of you and what you do for us. I am not really great at like remembering all these things that we have to do, but let me go through our thank you. I have a closing button here. Let's see. Is this it?
Wobble Puffet?
That's not it. Outro music. I don't know if you can hear that. Hopefully you can hear that. All right, folks. So huge thank you to our Patreon producers, Dave Ernsberg, RJ Kern, Jacqueline Amira, Solo Something, as well as over our 95 plus patrons who support us every single year, or every single month, I apologize. Special thanks to all the amazing Twitch subs who are there and our Twitch followers, and a big shout out to everyone who's helped us get over 6,800 subscribers over on YouTube. That's a great way to help us out as well. Thank you to everyone. If you're looking for more Nintendo Dads information, head over to nintendodads.org, where we've got our website. You can check out all of our tweets and our feeds for our family of podcasts, which include the Game Pass News, Dads After Dark, Retro Logic, featuring Retro Logic, Retro Topic, Retro Groove, and Film Logic. All of our latest videos and tweets are available. Of course, our videos are available on YouTube and Twitch. And you can check out all of our social media, which includes Patreon, our Extra Life campaigns, and of course, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, we have some Nintendo Dads merch if you are interested. Don't forget, folks, to use that promo code NINDADS, NINDADS, for 20% off and free shipping, and that helps us out as well. So, using that is a huge thank you to us as well. Listen, if you want to drop us an email, head over to nintendodads@gmail.com, or believe it or not, we actually have a voicemail that you can call into and use, and that's 92925-NDADS or 929-256-3237. Big thanks to OC Remix that you've heard throughout the show. And hey, if you're on a podcast catcher of choice, feel free to head over and leave us a 5-star review. That also helps us get into right ears holes of people so they know what is going on. All right? For just me, thank you so much for being here. This has been episode 433, I think, maybe 34. I don't know. Be good. Take care of each other. Have a fantastic week. We'll talk soon. Take care. Bye-bye.